Most traps don't look dangerous. If they did, no one would ever step into them. A trap has to look harmless. It has to convince you that walking through the door is actually a good idea. Comparison works the same way. It whispers, just look at them. See what they're doing. Maybe if you compare yourself to someone who's further ahead, you'll finally figure out what's missing in your own life. At first, that doesn't sound dangerous. In fact, sometimes it sounds wise, because sometimes comparison is helpful. Watching someone who's further ahead can teach us. It can inspire us. It can challenge us to grow. There's nothing wrong with learning from someone else's journey. The trap begins when learning quietly becomes measuring. Somewhere along the way, you're no longer admiring someone else's progress, you're questioning your own. And without even realizing it, you stop measuring your life by where you've been, and you start measuring it by where someone else is. That's the comparison trap. Not because comparison is always bad, but because comparison has a way of quietly changing from inspiration into self-doubt. So why do so many of us fall into it? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Rebuild and Fulfill, where we have real conversations about mental health, resilience, recovery, and what it truly takes to rebuild your life. I'm Kelsey Dunbar. Today, it's just you and me. But before we jump into today's topic, I want to tell you where this episode came from. Today, we're also releasing part 1 of an incredible conversation that Mark and I had with Jimmy Choi. During that interview, Jimmy shared a story that you won't actually hear until part 2. I'm not going to spoil it. I want you to experience it the same way that I did. But after we finished recording, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It challenged the way that I think about comparison, about success, about progress. And honestly, it made me reflect on hundreds of conversations Mark and I have had with people over the years who are trying to rebuild their lives. That one story became the seed for this episode. Because the more I reflected on that conversation, the more I realized something. Comparison isn't the trap. The story we tell ourselves after the comparison, that's the trap. And I think every single one of us has lived that story. Over the last several episodes, we've been talking about the transformation gap, that space between knowing what to do and consistently living it. We've talked about showing up. We've talked about taking action. We've talked about why people feel they're constantly needing to start over. And I've reflected on all of those conversations, and I keep coming back to one unexpected obstacle that quietly keeps people stuck: comparison. Mark and I have worked with people rebuilding after addiction, people navigating grief, people recovering from trauma, people battling anxiety and depression, people rebuilding their businesses, relationships, health, confidence, different stories, different circumstances, different starting points. But one thing seems to show up over and over again: comparison. And what's interesting is, it doesn't seem to matter how successful someone becomes. Comparison always finds another way to sneak back into their life. So today, I don't want to tell you to stop comparing yourself. Honestly, I don't think that's realistic. Instead, I want to answer a different question. Why do we compare ourselves in the first place? Because I think the answer changes everything. Comparison isn't something we learn as adults. It's something we've been doing our entire lives. As kids, we compare grades, sports, popularity. As adults, we compare careers, income, relationships, houses, followers, businesses, our bodies, parenting, even healing. We compare almost everything. Not because we're broken, because our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the world. Comparison is one of the ways that we do that. It's how we learn. It's how we evaluate progress. It's how we understand what's possible. So comparison itself isn't the enemy. The problem starts when comparison stops being information and starts becoming identity. Maybe you've seen someone who's further ahead in business, and instead of thinking, what can I learn from them? You think, maybe I'm just not good enough. Or maybe someone posts a picture of their family, their vacation, their new house, their success, and suddenly you don't just admire what they have, you begin questioning what you don't. Nothing about your life changed. The only thing that changed was the story. That's why I don't think comparison is the trap. I think the comparison trap is believing that someone else's progress says something about your worth, because it doesn't. Not even a little. This is where comparison becomes dangerous. Not because of what we see, because of what we tell ourselves afterward. You scroll through social media. Someone announces a promotion. Someone publishes a book. Someone finishes a marathon. Someone launches a business. Someone loses 50 pounds. And in a matter of seconds, your brain starts writing a story. I'm behind. I should be further along. Everyone else has it figured out. What's wrong with me? Here's the crazy part. Almost none of those conclusions came from facts. They came from assumptions. You don't know what that person's life actually looks like. You don't know what they've sacrificed. You don't know how many failures came before that moment. And you don't know what they're struggling with today. You only know what you can see. And yet, we build our entire beliefs about ourselves based on someone else's highlight reel. That's the trap. Not the comparison, but the conclusion. And once we believe that story, we begin living it like it's true. One of the most famous quotes about comparison says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." I think there's a lot of truth in that. Comparison absolutely can steal your joy, but I think it steals something even more dangerous. It steals your direction. Because the moment you become consumed with someone else's path, you stop fully walking your own. You start chasing someone else's definition of success, someone else's timeline, someone else's goals, someone else's version of what a meaningful life actually looks like. And before long, you don't even know if you're pursuing something because it actually matters to you or because someone else has it. That's exhausting. Because comparison is one of the only races where the finish line never stops moving. You lose 10 pounds. Someone else loses 20. You publish a book. Someone else became a bestseller. You launch a podcast. Someone else has 1 million downloads. You start a business. Someone else is making a lot more money. You make progress, but someone else appears to be further ahead. If someone else always gets to define the finish line, you never feel like you've arrived. And that's not just exhausting, it's unfair. It's unfair to compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. It's unfair to compare your beginning to someone else's breakthrough. It's unfair to compare your healing to someone else's timeline. It's unfair to compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel because you don't know their whole story. You don't know what they've lost. You don't know what they've sacrificed. You don't know how many nights they've questioned themselves. You don't know how many failures came before the success that you can see today. And that doesn't mean that their success isn't real. It just means your comparison is incomplete. You're comparing your entire story to one page of theirs. And that's never going to be a fair comparison. The more I think about it, the more I realize something. The people we compare ourselves to are probably comparing themselves to someone else. That's how deep this goes. It keeps everyone looking sideways instead of looking inward. Everyone measuring instead of growing. everyone chasing instead of becoming. And maybe that's the greatest cost of the comparison trap. It convinces you that becoming yourself is never enough. How do you know when comparison has crossed the line? I think the answer is actually pretty simple. Ask yourself, what happens immediately after the comparison? Does seeing someone else's success expand your belief in what's possible? Or does it shrink your belief in yourself? That's the question. Healthy comparison asks, what can I learn? Unhealthy comparison asks, why am I not enough? Healthy comparison says, maybe I can do that too. Unhealthy comparison says, I'll never be that person. Healthy comparison creates curiosity. Unhealthy comparison creates condemnation. Healthy comparison moves you toward growth. Unhealthy comparison moves you towards shame. And shame rarely helps anyone grow. It usually makes us hide. It makes us isolate. It convinces us we're too late, too old, too damaged, too inexperienced, too ordinary, too broken. But what if none of those stories are actually true? What if you're not behind? You're simply on a different path. What if you're not failing? You're still becoming. What if someone else's success wasn't meant to discourage you, but to just remind you of what's possible? That one shift changes everything. Because the same comparison that can make you quit can also become the reason to keep going. The difference is the story you attach to it. That's where your real power is. You may not control every comparison that enters your mind, but you can absolutely question the conclusion. Pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Or is this making me feel smaller? Is this teaching me something? Or is this attacking my identity? Is this inspiring me? Or is this convincing me to quit? That's where the real work begins. Not pretending comparison doesn't exist, but refusing to let comparison define your value. I do think there's one comparison that's actually healthy, and it's probably the one we overlook the most. Compare yourself to who you used to be. Not someone else's business, not someone else's body or someone else's marriage, not someone else's recovery, not someone else's platform, not someone else's timeline. Compare yourself to yesterday's version of you. Because that's the only comparison that actually tells you whether you're growing. Ask yourself, am I more patient than I used to be? Am I healthier? Am I more honest? Am I more consistent? Am I asking for help more often? Am I responding differently to stress? Am I showing up in ways I never would have a year ago? Am I treating myself with more grace? If the answer is yes, you're making progress. Maybe it's quiet. Maybe it doesn't get applause. Maybe no one else is noticing. But progress is still progress. A person who used to isolate and now asks for help, that's progress. A person who used to quit after one bad day, but now just starts again, that's progress. A person who used to numb their pain, but now talks about it, that's progress. A person who used to believe that they were broken, but is now beginning to believe they may simply be overloaded. Even that's progress. Those victories matter because rebuilding rarely happens in giant leaps. It usually happens in quiet decisions, repeated over and over again. So this week, I'm not going to challenge you to stop comparing yourself. But if we're honest, either would I. We all do it. Instead, pay attention to what happens next. Pay attention to the story you tell yourself after the comparison. Does it inspire you or diminish you? Does it remind you what's possible or convince you that you'll never be enough? Because that's where the comparison trap is waiting. Not when you notice someone else's success, but when you allow that success to determine your worth. And you don't have to give it that power. Celebrate other people's wins. Learn from their journey. Be inspired by what's possible. Just don't confuse their story with your own. Don't let someone else's chapter 20 make you question your chapter 2. Don't spend so much time wishing you had someone else's life that you forget to build the one you've been given. Because the world doesn't need another version of someone else. It already has one. What it doesn't have is you, your story, your experiences, your perspective, your purpose. Maybe the person you've been trying so hard to become has been standing in the way of the person you were created to be. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. And if this conversation made you stop and think, or if you know someone who's been quietly measuring their worth against everyone else around them, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Because sometimes our perspective shift can become the first step toward a completely different life. So until next time, remember, you're not broken, you may just be overloaded. And we will see you next time on Rebuild and Fulfill. Take care.